Hello YouTubers, it's been a while, man. I'm sorry about that. Haven't been filming much, at least not for my video or my YouTube. So today I'm at work. My wife calls me and says, hey, the Lincoln's leaking a bunch of fluid and is making a bunch of noise. I'm like, oh no, man. We just had it overheat Sunday, I believe it was. It was 105 degrees here in Louisiana, Shreveport. And it overheated, bubbled over, everything was just hot. So I was able to pull over and find her and take a closer look. And on these, they're pretty much, the fan is hydraulic. It runs off of fluid. And here's actually the reservoir over here. It was a little low, so I topped it off. And I'm not sure if it's got a slow leak or something, but it's after topping it off, well, it's not actually. The car's on ramp, so that makes sense. So anyways, it's probably level. Once it's level, it's probably fine. This afternoon, I'm at work. I'm driving, and my wife says there's a big pot of oil under the car, and it's making a bunch of noise. Turned out it was the power steering pump making all that noise, and also turned out I thought maybe something blew. It was something really serious, and luckily it's not. It's just this rubber hose here. It's dry rotted or cracked. Had this heat shield over it, and believe it or not, I believe just from 20 years of leaning again or rubbing up against it, it cut through it. So this heat shield, instead of protecting, actually cut through the rubber hose. Unfortunately, looking local for this hose here, can't find it. It's not sold online. It's not sold in the local auto parts. Might be in Rock Auto, I don't know, but here's the part number here. It's hard to see, but I'm gonna try to pull this hose off, get that part number, see if I can cross-reference that part number. And you can see there's another crack right there. So it's right by the exhaust manifold. It's hard to see, but that's the power steering pump. That's the actual tube that it connects to. One of those devil's design hose clamps. And believe it or not, I have special pliers for that. So I believe these were made for those clamps. And I've got a chance to test it out today and worked pretty good. I believe I got these from AutoZone or Harbor Freight. One of them there. So unfortunately, I have a bunch of cars, but this one's one that has AC, and my other one is down right now. With the one that has air conditioning is down, and my little Datsun don't have air conditioning, but I can live with that. But my wife can't. She cannot live without AC in her vehicle. It's too hot. So first thing I did is remove this cover over here. It was really simple. Cover that goes over here was on the floor. It's got these twist anchors that go, I believe, one here, one there, and one here, and one here. So this might not be one of them, but it's actually, this holds a radiator. Never mind. So it's one here, one here, one here, and one over there. So that gives you access to the air box. There's a bolt here. I think it's a 10 millimeter. This presses into this hole here. That's the bottom of the air box, so you have to pull up on it. And there's this here that just kind of rests on that. There's two plugs. I think mass air, speed sensor, or something like that. Okay, after you do the airbox removal, you've got a 10 millimeter bolt here. Got a hose clamp that holds out holes there. You're going to remove your reservoir, and that's your power steering reservoir. It also has a return hose, I believe, is this right here. Yep. So return hose. I could find the return hose right there. Just can't find I believe it's called a suction power steering reservoir suction hose, and it's pretty big. So if I can't find it, I'm going to try to get a hose that's similar size or really close to it, and maybe have it just a little longer so it won't kink on me. And of course it's got to be, so I don't believe it's pressurized, but it's got to be something that's oil resistant. So this is a 2001 Lincoln LS V8. Hose popped, leaked all the power steering fluid, making a hell of a noise. My wife can't drive it like that. So air box off, cover first, air box, reservoir, undo the hose clamps, and you've got access to it. It's pretty tough to get in, especially with fat hands, but it's possible. Gonna get that hose off, try to do some research of that part number, get a cross reference, either order it or like I said, make my own. So headed to the local AutoZone. Apparently that hose has been discontinued. I can't find it anywhere. And apparently also it's the same as the little retro T-Bird of that era, 2001, I believe, 2003, something like that. When they try to bring the T-Bird back, little T-seater car. Apparently they have the same hose, and it's all been discontinued. Can't find it anywhere on eBay. Even Rock Auto doesn't have it. So I'm gonna go to AutoZone, see if I can match something up and make it work. All right, I fell twice. AutoZone doesn't have anything like that, or that big actually. O'Reilly's doesn't have a hose that big, and they try to sell me a heater hose, which would not work for a line, you know, a oil line or a hydraulic line. So there's a place here downtown. It's Bearing Services, I believe, and they usually have hoses for like maybe backhoes and things like that. I want to see if maybe they can have me something made or cut for me, and that should end everything. I'm not going to find this part local, I don't think, or online. So I do want to get it local because I can't wait another day. I need my car, or my wife needs her car. So wish me luck. Well, this is day 2. Looking for a hose for my Lincoln. And all the part stores are, they've been discontinued, that hose itself. It's got a real sharp bend. So it needs to be a hydraulic line. Also, they didn't have the right size hose. The hose is I think 3/4 inch diameter. So that was another issue that I was having. They tried to sell me a water hose, you know, heater hose, and from what I've been reading, it just wouldn't hold up. It's not, I don't believe a lot of pressure on it, but it might be, I have no idea. Well, I didn't want to take a chance. But here's the Lincoln here. It looks like a V6 model. I want to see if that hose is the same, or somebody might have already snatched it, looks like. Well, they took off the, actually, took off the hose. It looks like they might have cut it with the tools. There's a hose. What does this go to? This doesn't look like the right hose. But yeah, they cut it. Well, that's not good. Yeah, this was the 6-cylinder model, I believe. Yep. Alright, so 1 strike. There's supposed to be 4 here, but 2 V8 models. There's one that's supposed to have just gotten here like 6 days ago. It's supposed to be silver. Let me see here. Let's see. Come on. Am I missing something? All right, there's another silver at the end, second to the last on the left. Looks like somebody might have beat me to it too. This one's exactly like ours, just about. I think it's a 6-cylinder model. Oh, it's a V8. Okay. Doesn't look to have been touched yet. I'm aware of. Nope. All right. Let's see here. Situated here. All right. At the front. Okay. I see a hose. All right. Yeah, I see it. Let's see if it's still connected. Down there. Yeah, it looks like it's still connected. Cool. I think so. Yeah. Yeah, it's still connected. Sure is. Unbelievable. Alright, so it's a 02 3.9 liter Lincoln. They've already pulled this off. That was right here. They put the air filter air box out. So I just gotta undo this right here, and then there's another right here by the dipstick. I don't know if you can see it or not, but and that'll loosen this up. I need to undo this clamp here, if you can see that, and then the other one, and then there's another clamp just like these at the pump. So what I want is the reservoir to pump hose. This is a reservoir to cooler hose. This one I could get. The other one you can't. It's discontinued. Success, y'all. I found it. It's a little dirty. It looks like it's been replaced before. It's probably before it went discontinued. Very easy. I undid those clamps at the reservoir, and this was actually full, believe it or not. I usually drain these things. But anyways, undid the bottom clamp, slid it down the hose, actually, and then slid it off when I pulled this off of it. Had to undo this clamp too. But I guess you really don't need to. Undid the bolt that went here, which is a 10mm, and then the other socket is 8mm. It's a bolt here. These two bolts right here release that reservoir. Undo the top clamp for this bigger hose here that I needed, and pull on this, and it'll pull this out. Now the bottom is very tough, and you have to have one of these. Just absolutely have to have. There's not enough room. And these take off the those really, I call them devil's clamps. And got down there, you can see that clean area right there, that nipple. male end, and I slid the clamp up the pump, and it's leaning right up against there. You can see it there. Because if you pull it down, it's going to get stuck. You won't be able to pull it off. So once that clamp is pulled up, it's going to be standing like this. All right, standing like that. And of course, if it's stuck on, you know, on the male end because of the heat, you have to break it loose a little bit. So I got this huge screwdriver, kind of pushed it a little bit at the edges there, and it released it. Then what you want to do is put that screwdriver right at the bend there, and be careful not to damage it, and you just give it a couple tugs or pushes, start sliding off of that male end. And if you want, you can just give it a little tap, and it slid right out, and it didn't damage the hose. So discontinued hose. These are also used on the 01 to, I forget what year these ended, Lincoln LS V8, and I believe the 600 looked to be the same. I also know that these came off of the little T-Birds, the retro T-Birds, the little two-seaters that came out for a while. They also use the same hose. And there's something pretty cool I've been looking for too. It's an inside vent. These tend to be missing all the time, and they're all cracked up, and I found one exactly the same color as mine. Here's an actual reservoir that somebody I had already taken off, but they cut the hose. I don't know how. I guess it's just a difference. So it must be a V6 model, this one. This one must be for the V6, so you can see the difference. It's just a little bit longer, it looks like. Has some different bends to it. So this is a V8 model, so there is a difference in the V6. And it's supposed to go in like this, so it's not too far off. You might be able to make it work. Yeah, but the most important thing, that bend is there, but they cut into it. So I might just take that one too, I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, back to the house. Alright, I got the hose on, and I have to say that it was pretty tough, but had to kind of cheat the system in the lower half. I put the clamp on that clamp over there, this clamp, or plier, on the clamp, and I fed the tube down into the male end of the power steering pump, and released some of the pressure of this clamp, so it'll hold that rubber piece, hold on to the hose clamp would hold on to the rubber a little bit, rubber hose, and I was able to use this to push it in. And because I couldn't get this here plier clamp and my fat hands down there to be able to push the hose into the male end of that power steering pump. So like I said, I released some of the pressure on the clamp with the pliers, using the pliers, but not enough to where it wouldn't slide over the hose wouldn't slide over the male end. If you catch my drift, and I kind of pushed it in like that. So once I did that, it was pretty easy, but it took a while to figure it out. And then, you know, of course, that was easy too, the top part. Fed the hose clamp in first, and then I pushed this onto the hose, the reservoir onto the hose. Then the cooling line, I did the same thing, but you need these pliers. I think this was from AutoZone, and Harbor Freight might have them, but get yourself a quality set. You know, these don't hold like they should. They hold when there's nothing pressure on them like this, then you press this and release. But when there's the clamp pressure and you're trying to put that hose clamp on, it just opens right up. I think the little teeth are stripped or something. And I think this is the first time I've ever used them, so you can see the little grip, the little teeth. So anyways, I've cleaned the outside off so I can see my measurement. I kind of overfilled it just a hair, but when you start it, you want to work the air out of it, and you want to work the power steering fluid into the hose and the rack and everything. So what you're going to do once you start it, you're going to kick your steering wheel left to right, full left, full right, until you work all the air bubbles out. Once the noise or squealing or whining goes away, you might need to add more fluid to top it off. But I'll tell you what, it was a bear. I'm not gonna lie, trying to find a part over the counter didn't work. I'm gonna include part numbers and see maybe you can get lucky. But I did end up going to the junkyard. And bought a used hose. And what I did, I wrapped it with Gorilla Tape, and I put the shield back over it to prevent, heat. But the Gorilla Tape, I noticed even the hose that I took off before, that heat shield is after a while, it rubs into the hose. The one that I took off was dry rotted and cracked. So, there's no stopping that. But it did work into, the hose itself, just the heat shield alone. But that part number, I'm not sure if that's a Ford part number or replacement right there, but I could not find it. And I'll provide the part number that I got from the junkyard, which was, I believe, an aftermarket hose, which I don't think you can find anymore either. So I was thinking maybe a hydraulic hose shop would have something similar, but you need that 90-degree bend without pinching the hose. This is a water hose, water heater hose, and it's not strong enough. And as soon as you throw that 90 bend in it, it pinches the hose. See that? It's no good. You'll probably lock up your pump because you're not going to get the proper amount of fluid. So it has to be oil resistant hose. I'm not sure high pressure. I don't believe there's a whole lot of pressure on it since it's a suction hose, but you don't want it to collapse either since it is a suction hose. So it's semi-rigid, doesn't have any wire in it. It's oil resistant, and it's got this 90 that doesn't, and a swoop that doesn't, collapse. So if you have this issue with your T-Bird or Lincoln LS, good luck. Thank you for watching, everyone. I hope this helps you and getting your project going. Take care.